Your kids could get free or low-cost health coverage from Medicaid or CHIP. Even if you've applied before, they may be eligible now. Kids up to age 19 are covered for checkups, vaccines, dentist visits, hospital care, and more. And if they already have Medicaid or CHIP, remember to renew every year. Visit insurekidsnow.gov or call 877-KIDS-NOW. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
Hello, filthy movie lovers. My name is Gentry Austin.
And I'm Casey Scott.
And we're the hosts of the Sin Syndicate, film podcast for something weirdos, anti-criterion bros, and Joseph Sarno aficionados. Join us semi-weekly as we peer into the adults-only theaters and sticky-floored cinemas of the golden age of sexploitation, when the morals were loose, the laws were murky, and the intercourse was all simulated. Find us now on the Someone's Favorite Productions podcast network.
Welcome to the Kulturecast. I'm Chris Stachiw.
I'm Oscar Moreno, writer.
And I am Zach Wickware.
And today we're going to be talking about the Super Mario Brothers movie. Before we get to that, Oscar and Zach, have you guys been watching anything this week?
Yeah, a couple of days ago I had a double feature with a friend. We watched Victor Frankenstein and then we watched the last Hunger Games movie, Mockingjay Part 2.
I couldn't get into the Hunger Games movies at all. And I've heard that the new one is very tonally different from the first one and the rest of the series. Is that true? What did you think?
I'm a very casual fan. Very, very casual fan. Like, I probably wouldn't have seen this movie if my friend hadn't told me to go see it with her. And yeah, and overall, I think it's true. It's not that different, but it is. I gotta say that in spots, like the tone of it reminded me of Children of Men, which is a good thing because that's one of my favorite movies, if not my favorite movie. And it gets very bleak, like surprisingly dark and bleak. And man, like a lot of people die in this movie. Tons and tons of people die in this movie. And it's more of a thriller, I think, because I think the other two were like the Mockingjay Part 1 was more of a political thriller, I would say. And the first one and the first two were more of, like actual about the Hunger Games more so. This one's more like a thriller in the sense that they're running away from Snow and his people. They're hiding. It's more of a thriller for an action film. And yeah, but still the tone really didn't feel that different from the other films. But it sort of stands out with a few elements from the others. Again, it's more of a thriller, but not that different from the other movies.
I'm not a huge fan of Jennifer Lawrence, and I know that that's like sacrilege in this day and age to say that, but I'm not a huge fan of her as an actress. And I could never get into, after initially watching the first Hunger Games movie, I could never get into like even having an interest in watching the other ones.
I mean, again, it's a practice I'm really like very, very casually interested in. I watched I always end up watching this movie because somebody else wants me to watch it with them. The only exception was Mockingjay Part 1 because it was on Netflix and I had nothing to watch and I thought, okay, I'll check it out, and I like that one surprisingly a lot. Like, I know people think it's the worst one, but I think it was actually pretty good. I don't know. I'm a very casual fan. I think it's a very intriguing world and story, and I was like, at the beginning of the movie, I was like sort of the same way I feel about Twilight. Like, I'm like, oh my god, how did they get 4 books out of this piece of shit? But with Hunger Games, like, I thought, okay, this is at most a 2-part kind of story, and I don't know, I think they did a good job like developing the story and the consequences of it. I mean, but again, I understand if you're not really into it. Again, I'm a very casual fan. I think it's an interesting story and with a few interesting characters to an extent, because overall all the character drama is like a soap opera. Like, oh my god, who's gonna get Katniss? Who's gonna, like, it's all about shipping and that kind of stuff. And like, oh my god, that for me, that's really boring to me. I as a fan of anything, that's always the most boring aspect of a story, like the romance. So,
well, I mean, that's all for the young girls, man. That's all for like the teenage crowd and stuff.
yeah, for me, but it works, oddly enough. Like, it's not really irritating. And again, I like the movies. And I haven't really read the books, but I like the movies. I read the first book and tried to read the other ones. I really couldn't get into the books, but the movies have worked for me.
Well, hey, at least you didn't go see In the Heart of the Sea, or should I say In the Heart of the Flops.
Oh yeah, I almost went to see that because it actually opened a week before here in Mexico, but I really couldn't get to see that one. Maybe I'll try later if it's still around, because it looks interesting. I like Ron Howard. One of my favorite books is Moby Dick, and I want to see like what's sort of like the inspiration for the real life what was the real life story that inspired Moby Dick. So for me, it has that going for it. But I don't know. I heard it's not really that good. And again, I like Ron Howard, but he's a very, very hit or miss director.
Yeah,
I cannot believe he would do something like it came after, but he would do something like Rush, which is a very good movie, but then he does something like The Dilemma. Like, oh my god, what happened there?
Yeah, he's I've never understood Ron Howard's hit or miss-ness, considering how he's like widely considered to be one of the better directors in Hollywood. So there aren't very many directors that are considered one of the best that are as hit and miss as he is.
Yeah.
So
really, is he considered one of the best? Because I know he gets like a lot of Oscar nominations like every now and then, but.
Well, I mean, Beautiful Mind, Apollo 13.
Like, those are good movies, but then you have stuff like, again, The Dilemma, The Grinch. What else has he got that's not really good? The Da Vinci Code,
Yeah, well, yeah, that's true. Angels and Demons is good.
I like Angels and Demons too, and I think it's actually one is a better book, and two, it's a better movie than the Da Vinci Code.
Yeah, well, that's not hard. That is not hard. That Da Vinci Code movie is bad.
It is very bad.
Yeah. Zach, what about you? You been watching anything?
No, I've just been I've been playing a lot of video games lately. I got a lot of stuff around Black Friday time, and just been kind of doing that. And not really watching much TV or movies or anything.
Oh man,
you bum.
No,
I know.
I kind of wish I was him. I wish I was playing more games myself.
Yeah, I've been doing that. Like, I watch a movie here and there, but it's honestly been a couple weeks. And I think the last thing I watched was I watched Who Framed Roger Rabbit with Mark, because he'd never seen it before.
That's a great movie.
That's astounding. I'm surprised he's never seen it. Well, no, I'm not. Never mind. It's Mark. I'm not surprised he hasn't seen it. Have I been watching anything? No, not really. I watched...
You're too quote-unquote busy with the website.
Yeah. Well, I have to watch at least 3 movies a week. So I watched a trailer for the new Independence Day movie. It looks awesomely stupid in the best way possible. And we are one day, less than 24 hours removed from knowing what the new Star Wars movie is going to be like. How insane is that?
Hey, this is Jason Kleberg from the Force 5 podcast, a show that forces a guest to come up with a movie-themed top 5 list topic, and then we reveal our picks on air. Top 5 heist films, top 5 tearjerkers, top 5 movie dogs. Every show you'll be asking yourself, what would be on my list? Guests include directors, screenwriters, actors, podcasters, musicians, authors, and even a professional wrestler. Subscribe to the Force 5 podcast, and you won't just be a listener, you'll be a list nerd. The Force 5 podcast, available wherever you're listening now.
Saying I cannot. It's really weird. It's very weird, and I tried to remember like the time I felt when the prequels came out, when the Phantom Menace came out, and for me it was like, hey, new Star Wars. But at that point, I think it hadn't been that long for me, because I'd only been like alive on Earth for like 8 years or something, and. Yeah. Like, the special editions had come out like 2 years before, and so in a way we were like kind of ready. But I think what makes the difference is that we sort of knew the story of the prequels, and now we're gonna be watching like something entirely, that's gonna take God knows in one direction.
I've learned to temper my expectations. Like, I got really excited for the prequels when I was younger, because I was like 13, 14 when those started coming out. And just, I don't know, I think that my expectations just kind of wrecked that movie for me. Because I didn't end up liking the prequels quite as much as that. And I mean, it's funny because I'm a bigger Star Wars fan now than I was back then, and it's just, I don't know. I'm looking forward to seeing the movie, but I'm not like incredibly hyped for it.
No, I understand how you feel because I'm excited about it, but at the same time, like, shit, it could really suck in a way that people don't see coming, and so I don't know. That's what makes me a bit nervous about it. But we'll see.
One word, midichlorians.
Yeah.
One phrase, Star Trek.
Yeah, I mean, for example, I like the first one, but the second one, Into Darkness, I mean, I don't think it's horrible, but it's not really a good movie. Actually, I think that what killed that movie was more the story and the characters than the actual direction.
And the idea that they flat out said that Cumberbatch was not playing Khan and that he was playing Khan, and that pissed off so many people because they felt like the people behind the movie were trying to trick us.
Yeah, that was really stupid. I don't know why they bother. I mean, come on, like, why did they even bother saying that when, like, a couple of months before you were casting Benicio del Toro as Khan? Well,
they literally even did the same thing with Spectre with Christoph Waltz.
Yeah.
Where it's like, he's not playing Blofeld, but he is. We're not fucking stupid.
Well, they just
come up.
These studios just need to be better about hiding their.
But there's no point in it. There's no point in hiding it. We know better. Yeah. If you're casting a big name actor in a big name role in a film that is essentially retreading old ground, then everyone's always going to be on the lookout for whether or not that person is playing a known character, because they're not going to introduce a big name actor as just a unknown villain.
Yeah,
no,
you know what I mean?
I get you.
Like they did that with in Dark Knight Rises, where they had Marion Cotillard as some fake ass character name. It turned out she was Talia al Ghul. Which was revealed in the last 5 minutes of the movie. So it's just like, you're just wasting your own time and you're wasting our time. If you were just upfront and outright about it, maybe the script would have been better. And all three of those movies, Dark Knight Rises, Spectre, and Star Trek Into Darkness, aren't good movies.
They did not.
I know you liked Spectre. I know you liked Spectre, Oscar.
Yeah, and I also like.
It wasn't great.
Yeah, it wasn't great. That's true. And same for, actually, I also like Dark Knight Rises, but it's also not a great movie.
You mean a Batman movie that doesn't have Batman in it?
For me, it was actually the most Batman movie out of the. Well, that's not true, because Batman movie is more of a Batman movie. I think it's more. Yeah.
You know what's a Batman movie? Batman with Michael Keaton. Best Batman movie ever made. Oh God,
it's true.
Let's not go down this path.
No, this is the wrong podcast for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, less than 24 hours from Star Wars. I'm excited, but I'm not.
Yeah, like, I think we talked about this like a couple of months ago, where we said we were cautiously excited.
Yeah, but I mean, now it's like, here it is. Like, I remember where I was when I read that Lucasfilms was bought by Disney and they were making like a whole new trilogy of Star Wars movies. That was like 3 years ago.
Yeah, it's true. It doesn't seem like it though.
No, it doesn't. I mean, this is, and this is something I've talked with a couple people about. And I'm curious, I know we're running long on this part, but I'm curious. Do you guys think that anyone will ever be as excited for another Star Wars movie as they are for this one? Because I don't think they will.
No.
This is the last time we have to get excited about a Star Wars movie.
No, not really. I don't think so.
Well, and with them moving to like a yearly release schedule, like, it's going to be hard to get excited. Like, I remember when Phantom Menace came out, and they were like, oh, this is the first new Star Wars film in an entire generation. They were just blowing just throwing everything at this movie with advertising money and whatnot, just trying to hype it up. And just, I mean, really, I haven't even seen like a lot of like trailer spots or anything for episode 7.
I mean, they're there. They're there.
Yeah,
they're everywhere. I don't know how you haven't seen them, but they're everywhere.
I guess it's probably just because I haven't been, or I don't watch like cable TV or anything. So.
Well, yeah, I don't watch cable TV either, so I just like see them as like banner ads and stuff. So I'm excited, but I don't want to put myself in a position where I have the ability to get let down. So
Yeah, I understand. I think the only way that people will get excited about the next one is if this one like opens up like a whole Jack in the Box like of story possibilities. Like, oh my god, that twist! Like, what happened? You know, there's like an equivalent of "Look, I am your father" here at the end of this movie. That then people were like, oh my god, what's gonna happen in the next one? So, but who knows? I don't know.
I take that back. I'm actually pretty excited about the next one because it has Benicio del Toro in it as the main villain, and that's going to be awesome.
Yeah, and it's directed by Ryan Johnson.
Yeah, and Benicio del Toro is awesome. So
yeah,
I mean, eight's 2 years out yet, so we got to get.
Is 8 2 years out?
Yeah, we got to get through Rogue One first because they're doing 7 spin-off, 8 spin-off, 9 spin-off.
And then 10, 11, 12.
Probably. They'll probably just go right into another show.
Not probably. Don't give me that probably garbage.
Disney's going to
Don't give me that probably garbage.
Disney's going to run it into the ground, we know.
Well, they're not going to run it into the ground. They're going to, do all they can to exploit the franchise.
Like they're doing with Marvel.
Yeah, but, give them kudos. Marvel stuff is good.
It is. But I think eventually it's going to wear on people that there's like 3 or 4 Marvel movies coming out every year. I think eventually
when the movies stop being good, I agree. But I don't think the movies have been bad yet. So, I mean, they've been bad, but the good ones outweigh the bad ones. Because you have Ant-Man. You have Ant-Man, which was pretty good, and everybody thought was going to be just kind of Guardians, which was really good. And then you have movies like Thor 2 or Captain America 1 or Thor 1. And those movies are kind of outweighed by the really good ones.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, with Marvel, I'm mostly okay. It's just that, for example, I don't have... Like, for me, the problem with the movies is that it's getting to a point where they're all kind of like blending into like the same like formula, sort of. And I really hope they're aware of this and they start to mix things up a little bit more. No, I think overall they're being like respectful of the material to an extent and making it accessible, which is good. But yeah, I hope they really don't fall into a formula. Like, these movies are starting to become like stale in terms of formula and stuff, but who knows? Like, we'll see what the future brings for these movies. Like, I hope they really don't get comfortable with the success they're having, because I really think they have an opportunity to make like something exciting and fun, and also something that, because for me, if you ask me, once you start to like getting this kind of success, I think you should give yourself permission to go crazier with the material, or start mixing it up with the movies. So who knows, maybe we'll do that.
Well, and I mean, Ant-Man was a heist movie. Guardians of the Galaxy was, shit you've never seen before. Uh-huh. Captain America 2 was like a spy movie. Mm-hmm. I mean, for me, honestly, the most exciting stuff Marvel's doing is their TV shows.
Same. Like, I thought Daredevil was great, and Jessica Jones was pretty good. I thought it was a pretty good show. Like, for me, personally, not as good as Daredevil, but at least it was very interesting and very solid, and even creepy.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about something that's not good. Let's talk about Super Mario Brothers from 1990. Based off of the video game, the wildly successful and still successful video game series Mario.
Loosely.
Loosely, basically.
Very loosely.
And the IMDb synopsis of the film is: 2 Brooklyn plumbers, Mario and Luigi, must go to another dimension to rescue a princess from the evil dictator King Koopa and stop him from taking over the world.
Where are we? I got a feeling we're not in Brooklyn no more.
They're brothers. They're plumbers.
Hold on. Mario! Luigi!
They're on the trail of a kidnapped princess and a mystical meteorite.
It's incredible!
That gives anyone who possesses it the power to rule the universe.
Get me the rock! Come and get it, lizard breath!
Now, they must rescue the princess.
Luigi!
Alien species escaping.
And make it safely back.
Later, alligator.
To our world.
Are you alright?
Before time runs out.
Shoot him! Look out, Mario! Get him! Yes! No,
Super Mario Brothers. This ain't no game.
Oscar and Zach, I'm assuming you both have seen this movie before.
Yes.
And I think that's a pretty fair assumption. What are your thoughts on the film watching it again?
It's still bad, but it's not. But it wasn't like compared to the other pieces of crap I have to see for good culture shock lately. At least it wasn't that boring. It was completely and horribly formulaic, and just completely ignores the video games in many ways. And oh my god, it's not really a good movie, but at least it's interesting to watch how it fails. At least, like for me, at least that was interesting, and at least it's a good looking movie. Like maybe it's because I'm a big like Terry Gilliam fan. Like I love Brazil, I love 12 Monkeys. Those sorts of movies. For me, the production design in this movie is great, even if it has absolutely nothing to do with how Super Mario Bros. Movie should look. Like at least has that going for it. At least it's interesting to watch, but it's not really a good movie. Like again, it has nothing to do with Super Mario Bros. Like the story is very predictable. I don't know what the hell the actors were doing in this movie. Like it's bad, but it's interesting. It's interesting to watch like how it's failing, especially in comparison to the video game.
I think it would almost be easier to talk about what's not wrong with this movie.
Are there things that aren't wrong with this movie?
Man, like, okay, so
yeah, it's a production design. That's it.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, Super Mario Brothers was the first video game I ever played. So I mean, I've always just loved the series, and there's just so much wrong. And I mean, you know, Chris, and I mean, with me being one of the main writers on the video game section, like I could just probably go on and on and on about the inaccuracies versus the video game franchise. But we don't need to do a 3-hour podcast. So I'll just say the movie, I will say, I don't think it deserves the reputation it has. It is not a good movie, but it is far from the worst video game movie.
Like compared to something to Alone in the Dark, it's a Godfather. I don't know.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what are we gonna do next?
This is an Orson Welles film, as far as I'm concerned, compared to fucking Alone in the Dark.
Yeah, we're gonna do bad video game movie month next.
You mean video game movie month?
Yeah.
So this is my second time watching this movie, and it is a fucking mess.
Oh, it really is.
The idea that instead of embracing the fantasy aspects of the original franchise, which is, Mario is in this fantasy world, they try to like this movie almost it feels like it could have been made now.
Yeah,
because they try to ground a fantasy idea in reality by having them be from New York, and they go through this magical portal into the Koopa land. I mean, it takes all of the fun, fantastical elements of the Mario franchise and strips it away and replaces it with realism. This movie really could have been made like last year or in the last like 10 years. It really could have, because it's almost like the Dark Knight of Mario. It's like it just be called like this should be called the Mario Brothers Returns or the Mario Brothers Rises or Mario Brothers Begins, because that's real. It's real. This takes a fantasy and grounds it in reality, and it's insane. There are no turtle shells in this movie.
Surprised, like the Goombas are huge and stuff.
We'll get to the fucking Goombas.
But no,
there's actually this book. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
No, you're fine, Oscar. No, I was just gonna say, like, I don't know, this movie, man, just this movie. I'm honestly surprised that
this movie, indeed.
I'm honestly surprised that nobody has ever tried to like bring the like to do a new one, to do a more actual based on the games kind of film. I mean, I assume
why would they, when this franchise is essentially so toxic because of this movie?
Yeah, I assume that Nintendo probably was like, no, never again. But
yeah, exactly.
It's just interesting to think that this movie's so bad that it just basically prevented anything Mario from ever happening after it, because like I don't even think there were ever another like TV series or anything after this. Like this pretty much killed Mario on film and television.
Yeah, and I think it's made Nintendo not only protective of Mario but all of their properties, which is why why haven't we seen a Zelda movie? I mean, come on, the Lord of the Rings and Harry Potter were big hits. Like it should be a no-brainer to make a Zelda movie, but I think they're just very, very protective of what happened after this.
Yeah, movie. I mean, even that. I mean, hell, Metroid. You could make a sci-fi epic out of Metroid. I mean, so I don't know.
But I think that what happened, this movie could have been bad. It could have been horrible, but if it had made money, I think that Nintendo would probably be like, well, maybe there's something maybe we make something crappy. We could still make a lot of money. Like, maybe we make something good. Who knows? But I think that was a problem. This movie not only was a critical flop, it just flopped at the box office as well. People were just turned away from it.
Well, and let's talk a little bit about the plot of this movie. So, as I mentioned in the IMDb synopsis, the Mario brothers are New Yorker plumbers who travel through this portal to Koopa Land, and there they meet King Koopa, who is like a politician played by Dennis Hopper. Which, I mean, Dennis Hopper is one of my favorite actors of all time.
Great actor, yeah.
Yeah, and in this movie, I mean, he hams it up the entire fucking... I mean, he's not the bad part of this movie. He's like hamming it up something fierce. But the idea that we need to ground these movies in reality is just so strange to me.
Yeah,
it's bizarre, right?
Yeah, and it doesn't in a way that really even makes sense. I think I'm a big believer that you can actually like do whatever you want with the story. You can make it realistic. You can make it like super fantastical. You can make it a horror. Whatever. You can do whatever you want, but it has to make sense in that regard at least. It has to make you think. Like if you're going for realism, you can at least say, oh hey, look. That will actually make sense if it happened this way. But here, absolutely nothing makes sense because from the ground, I mean, what's the first thing we see in this movie? Like the dinosaurs, right? Like the whole premise of the movie is that the dinosaurs didn't go, like not all dinosaurs went extinct. So, and on top of that, they talk. So it's like, okay, why are you trying to make this more grounded when you're actually still like adding all this fantasy bullshit to it, like talking dinosaurs and stuff
like dinosaurs evolved into humanoids, right?
Like
something like that.
Uh-huh.
Dinosaurs evolved into like humanoids instead of monkeys. I think is basically what the other universe was according to this film.
Yeah, something like that. I don't know.
It's so weird.
It's weird and stupid in a way that's not really... Because I think you can be weird and stupid, but again, here, this movie just... it's frustrating because it doesn't make sense at all. And
and you guys mentioned that this is considered one of the worst movies of all time.
Uh-huh.
And I mean, I think it's bad. But I think it's bad for a lot of reasons that are not anyone who's remote, who's like, I think the movie's bad because the people who were doing it had absolutely no idea what they were doing.
Oh yeah, like I was going to say a while back, like, have you read this book called Console Wars?
I have.
Like, there's a story they tell in that book about how this movie came to be. Like, you can see that you're completely right, Chris, that they had no idea what to do with this movie. Like, absolutely no clue. From like it was just a clusterfuck. From the actors to the writers to the director, like nobody, like they knew what they were doing. I think they were betting on it being a success because it was based on Super Mario Brothers, but they just blew it big time.
Well, and there were all sorts of names attached to this movie. They wanted Tom Hanks as Mario.
Yeah.
Initially, they wanted Danny DeVito, but he didn't sign. He didn't sign before he read the script. Schwarzenegger and Keaton were both approached to play the King Koopa role that eventually Dennis Hopper would take.
Also, Dustin Hoffman. Or no?
I didn't read that, but I wouldn't be surprised.
Like, yeah, I mean, they were going for names like that. I think they were like considering, those kinds of the big name actors.
Could you imagine Schwarzenegger in this thing? It'd be fucking Mr. Freeze.
I'm the Koopa. Do it. I'm King Koopa.
Nice to meet you.
Totally. Like, oh god, it's
I want to live in that reality.
I want to live in the reality where Schwarzenegger was in this movie and Schwarzenegger was in the Planet of the Apes movie. the Planet of the Apes Tim Burton movie. I want to live in that reality. Where Schwarzenegger was just taking like every single garbage movie thrown at him.
I want to live in the reality where Schwarzenegger sung the song from the Simpsons Planet of the Apes musical.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I think that the biggest misstep in this film is the casting of Hoskins and Leguizamo as Mario and Luigi, because neither one of them give a performance that's really of quality.
You know, it's funny because I was thinking watching the movie, like, John Leguizamo actually felt like he was the only person who actually gave a shit, you know? Like, nobody, like, everybody else just acted like they're just going through the motions, and he was like the only one that just seemed like he actually was like attempting to do something with the role.
Well, I think that's because he's always kind of like an endearing actor. I think that in any movie I see John Leguizamo, he's okay. You know, he's more than okay. He tends to actually sell the role, and he actually seems like he's having fun doing what he's doing. And but in this case, like, for example, with Bob Hoskins, I'm not sure if he's actually throughout this movie, I always feel like he's acting with a huge question mark over his head, like, why am I doing this? What is this all about? And it kind of shows.
And he also didn't know that it was based off of a video game.
Yeah.
For like a long while during the production of the film.
Apparently that was a thing with like several members of the cast, like, were completely unaware that it was not a film, or there was not a video game.
How is that possible? How is that actually possible?
I obviously don't want to say anything, you know, negative about anybody that was involved in this film.
No, Bob Hoskins is an awesome actor.
No, he is, and so is
John Leguizamo. So is Dennis Hopper. They're all great actors. But this movie's shit.
I think that they signed on to this. It's like, hey, we're gonna do this kids movie, get a paycheck. They didn't do any research on the role or what it was about. They just signed the fucking contract because they wanted money.
Mm-hmm.
I can understand that.
I bet.
But it's not great.
No, because that leads to shit performances.
I'm curious. Do you guys think their performances might have been better if they knew it was based off of a video game?
I seem to recall reading or hearing somewhere that like Hoskins was like didn't want to be involved after learning it was a video game or something. Like, I don't know. I mean, maybe it would have changed if they even did the movie. I mean, maybe we would have gotten an entirely different cast or an entirely different movie. I mean, who knows?
Well, and I've also read that Hoskins and Leguizamo were also just getting drunk.
Oh yeah. Like I think in the scene where at the beginning where it crashed, like they were drunk when they were shooting it. They were crashing for real. What isn't that the story that they tell in the book?
I think so.
Yeah, like
I just think that's hilarious that they're like, you know, the story behind this movie is much more interesting than the movie itself. Yeah,
tons more interesting.
Because the movie itself, like you said, Oscar, at the beginning, it's rather formulaic.
It's also, what I mean interesting is that it's watchable. Like, again, it's not really that boring. It just, again, it's watchable. And I think it's because of the production design. It's an interesting looking movie.
Yeah, I mean, you know, when they stripped away the fantastical elements of the video games, you're left with these giant, horrifying, I don't know what the fuck they're supposed to be. Lizard people. They're supposed to be Goombas, but I don't know what the hell they were thinking.
No, and again, when I mean good-looking movie, I mean the overall production design. Like, everything that's related to the creatures, to the Goombas, like, those are horrible, and not in a good way.
How about that dancing?
The dinosaur scene?
No,
are you talking about the elevator scene?
With the Goombas, yeah, where the Goombas like after that elevator scene in the movie where they just keep dancing every time they hear music. Like, you know, like
they're swaying back and forth.
Yeah, towards the end of the movie, like that's how they beat them. Is that Toad started playing music into his harmonica, and that all the other Goombas started dancing.
It's just really baffling.
Oscar's just like sound of regret.
Yeah,
here I am, ruining everything for everybody. How did the Mario Brothers win the day? But they didn't. Somebody else played a song, and then they won.
And you know, they also have this thing with de-evolving people and de-evolving humanoid dinosaurs into dinosaurs. And that's how they end up winning, is by turning Dennis Hopper into like a puddle of goop. Like Dennis Hopper, King Koopa, that is the Japanese name for Bowser, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And where they got Dennis Hopper with this crazy hair, this crazy like Max Headroom-esque haircut, which shouldn't be surprising considering how the directors of the film were involved with Max Headroom. He looks absurd. Like, how do you get Bowser from that? Like, how does Bowser translate into that? You know what I mean?
It's another one of those things, like, how is Nintendo okay with this movie being released? Like, I mean, why have they allowed it to still be released on DVD? Why let it release in the first place? Like, I can't imagine like executives at Nintendo watched this film, because like if they had seen like how far this deviated from the source material, why even allow it to be released on your console? Like, that doesn't make any sense. Or console, like, why allow the film to be released with your property on it?
Well, because they gotta make money. That was pretty much the situation. Because again, it's if it's not released, they don't make any money back. If it's released, at least they have a chance of making money.
Well, but this was in the early 90s. I mean, Nintendo was on top of the fucking world, man. They had the Super Nintendo was selling like gangbusters, and I'm trying to think here. So yeah, Super Nintendo was selling great. They still had the NES on the market. The Game Boy was selling great. I mean, the Virtual Boy hadn't happened yet. I mean, they were still in a good place.
Yep.
And then this comes out.
Yeah, this game. Maybe this is what cursed the Virtual Boy.
Pretty much. But I think that what happens is that, again, they were on top of the world, and they were thinking, anything we make, even if the movie sucks, even if we know it sucks, even if if it's just a bad movie and everybody hates it, if it comes out with the Super Mario brand name on it, people are gonna get into it. It's gonna make money just because of that. And then when lo and behold, it doesn't, because it's a really, really bad movie. And I think that word of mouth spread out that it wasn't really that it sucks. And I think that when it was released, they were betting on it to make money just because it was a Super Mario Bros. Movie, regardless if it was good or not. I'm not saying they weren't trying to make it good, because again, if you read that book, they sort of explain like how things went wrong. But at least they were thinking, what? At least it's gonna be released. At least it's gonna make money because it's a Mario movie. So maybe we have a chance. But they didn't. And,
it's surprising to me that when Nintendo was on top of the world in the mid-90s, and when this film came out, that, like you said, Zach, that they allowed this to come out. I mean, there's nothing Mario about this movie. It is not Mario at all. It really is just a formulaic action comedy sci-fi-ish film with the Mario name slapped on it, and they wear the red and green suspender overall coverall thing at the end of the movie.
Yeah, which look nothing like their outfits from the video games, might I add.
And up until that point in the film, Luigi had been wearing red and Mario had been wearing green.
Mm-hmm.
Because fuck you, fans of the video game. I don't know where they got the idea for making Mario about essentially them toppling a, Hitler-esque dictator. Like, is that what someone got when they were playing Mario? Oh, wait, no, because they didn't play Mario. There's like no fucking way that this is what you get when you think Mario. And that's the thing about this movie, is that this is one of the only things I think about now when I think about Mario, is this.
This movie exists.
Stupid fucking movie where at one point one of the villain characters gets thrown into the portal and turned into a skeleton. Like, turns into, like, that was terrifying. If you were a kid seeing that, holy shit. Or the fact that Dennis Hopper's character just becomes like goop at the end of the movie. Like, that's pretty fucked up for a kid's movie.
It is.
Because ultimately this is a kid's movie, right?
Yeah, I mean, I believe that was the intended audience. Because, I mean, remember in the 90s, grown-ups didn't play video games. Like, video gaming was for kids in the 90s. Like, it is not like it is today, where the target audience for video games is the 18 to 35 crowd. Back then, it was like kids under 15 were the crowd, or were the audience for those things. So
yeah,
and that to me is surprising.
Yeah, and I was thinking, like, because I actually watched this movie as a kid. I watched it like on television when I was like, I don't know, like 7 or 8 years old or something. And for me, it was funny because back then, because you don't know better, and because there's not the internet or anyone to tell you otherwise, you think that everything's canon. Like, absolutely everything is canon. Like, for me, like, when you're watching the movie, I was thinking, wow, so I guess Luigi and Mario were abandoned here? Or they were, like, for me, that was what I remember from the beginning, that they were abandoned as babies and together. But that's not actually what happens in the movie, right?
In the movie, Mario is Luigi's adopted father?
I guess he's like his older brother, but I guess Mario knew their parents, but Luigi never did.
I have a fucking clue what the hell's going on.
Yeah, like, I remember as a kid.
Their relationship is so, like, strange in this film.
Yeah, it is. And again, as a kid, you're taking it and thinking that it's canon. And I was actually remember that no, in the beginning of the movie, they abandoned Daisy, right? Because it was not even the equivalent.
Yeah. That was her mom abandoning her at the church.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, I was just remembering right now because, again, I was sort of like taking my impression as a kid that for some reason I thought that was supposed to be either Mario or Luigi when they were kids that were being abandoned there. Like, again, when you're a kid, you're taking it like everything in as if it was canon. And then you watch Daisy and you're thinking, okay, that's supposed to be Princess Peach, I guess. But why is she not Princess Peach then? And I don't know, I'm just going off my impressions that I had of the movie as a kid, because you think that everything's supposed to like match the video game, but then you see that it doesn't. It was very confusing as a kid. It still is now.
Yeah, it's kind of funny, honestly. Like being a bit older than you, Oscar. Like back in at the time this was released, like Princess didn't have Peach didn't have a first name. Like, she was just Princess Toadstool. Her name Daisy. Her name Daisy is actually the name of the princess from the Mario Land Game Boy game.
Oh, okay.
Well, Daisy is the brown-haired princess, right?
Yeah, she's the one that they rescued in Mario Land, and that's where she came from. So yeah, she's actually, they gave her the wrong character's name.
Because I didn't understand why she wasn't just Princess Peach.
Well, because like I said back then, she was just Princess Toadstool. She didn't get a first name until Super Mario 64.
Okay, that makes sense.
It still makes no sense.
I mean, yeah, it doesn't really make sense, but yeah, again, I'm sort of one thing, because again, I was really super into the Super Mario Brothers game when I was a kid. Like, I loved those games, but for a while I sort of like drifted away from video games and actually just came back to playing them like a year or so ago. But I'm really like disconnected from the canon. But even then, it doesn't, like, that's the thing about this movie, that even if you're just a very, very casual Mario fan, you can see like it absolutely has nothing to do with the actual game. Like, the movie has nothing to do with the actual game, like, at all.
No, it doesn't. It really feels like this idea that you can put one over on fans of something just by slapping the name on it.
True, exactly.
I don't know if you guys feel that way, but stuff has come out recently that has kind of felt the same way. The new prequel Star Wars movies kind of felt like that. Like, let's just put one over on fans of Star Wars. We'll slap the name on it. It won't feel anything like the original Star Wars movies, but let's slap the Star Wars name on it and see if we can get away with it. That's what this movie feels like. Is let's slap the name Mario on it. Let's have some characters kind of named, Mario and Luigi. And that's kind of where everything, and then there's Koopa and Toad, I guess, and Yoshi. But that's kind of where all that ends in regards to like the similarities between this movie and what we would consider to be, Mario canon, which is just the video games.
Yeah, and again, I think the results, I mean, because everybody wanted to make, like, it seemed like everybody was on making a different movie. Like, either want to make something more for like some sort of like dystopian dark fantasy, and others want to make something like more of an adventure film. And you can just see all those sensibilities clashing and not really making any sense. But they said, okay, we'll just make it make sense because it's a Mario movie. They just put the name on it, and yeah, it's I don't know. It's sort of like it's like someone was trying to make a ripoff of a Mario movie, but they were afraid of making it too similar, and they just decided to just put on the names on it, even if it has nothing to do with the actual Mario movie.
And I think that really is, the most egregious part of this film, is that Mario, and this is just me being honest, I love Mario. I like the game Mario, but Mario doesn't exactly have the deepest storyline.
No, not at all. It's a big fantasy world and a big fantasy game. It's sort of an adventure. I think that you're not really. I don't know. I don't think you can make it more. I heard some people say they should if they try to do it again, it should be something like a Pixar movie. And even but come on, Pixar's known for making actually some deep movies for families, and I'm not sure if even Mario has that kind of depth in it. But I could be wrong. Again, I'm not really that informed of the video games as a lot of people are.
I don't know why we would ever need another Mario movie.
To wash away this one from our memories, maybe. To redeem, actually show that maybe something good could be made out of this story.
But do you guys really feel like we need, personal opinion, do you guys feel like we honestly need another Mario movie?
No, we don't need it. But again, what movie do we need, really? And
That's true. But do you feel like there is a story worth telling with the Mario universe that they can't just tell through video games?
No, not really, especially since all the stories of the Mario games just boil down to, not all of them, but a majority of them boil down to Peach got kidnapped, go save her.
I was actually talking, again, my brother is super into video games, and he's a big Mario fan. If anything, I think the only one I will actually would like to see is a Luigi's Mansion movie. But it's because it will be super, super simple and, just different overall. Going for a lesser known part, well, not really lesser known, but less, I guess, just what you wouldn't expect. Again, I feel like anybody can go, oh, we're gonna make a Super Mario movie. It's gonna be about Mario rescuing Princess Peach. But you would expect that, but nobody would expect you to say, oh yeah, I want to make a movie out of Luigi's Mansion. At least it would be unexpected, I guess.
Yeah, for me as a fan of the games, I'd rather just play another Mario game than ever watch a Mario movie.
Yeah, probably. Again, it's probably one of those things that they probably shouldn't try doing again.
Yeah, I agree with that. I honestly, I would probably be in the same situation where if a new Mario film were to come out, I would just be like,
look what they did. They made a Mario cartoon and it's awful.
Oh, yeah.
The Mario cartoon is also awful. I can't imagine them bringing anything to the table at this point of substantial value.
Well, the funny thing is, too, is the Mario cartoons all predate this movie.
Yeah. And it's the Mario cartoon is insane.
It is.
It is all over the place, too, with what it is doing. So I feel like Mario is a property that they should just leave alone and leave to the video games.
Yeah.
Yeah. Overall, I'm not sure if I entirely agree, but again, if they don't really want to mess this up again. I think that's the most reasonable thing to do. Yeah, just leave it to the video games, because time and time again, I think it's been proven that that's the medium where the world and the story has best worked. And,
this kind of really boils down to this interesting conversation about, is video game a medium of enough quality that it doesn't need a film to exist kind of concurrent to it? You know what I mean? So they're making an Assassin's Creed movie because they can. But I would argue that the Assassin's Creed video game is already a movie quality story as it is, and it doesn't necessitate a movie based off of the video game to tell that story. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I do. No, I do. For example, I love BioShock, and I don't know. For example, I really like the idea of watching a BioShock movie, but at the same time, I cannot help but feel that maybe it will be something that will be taken away from the experience. Whoever if that movie is ever made, they will have to be really, really smart about how they would make that movie at the same time. I'm not sure what would be better than the video game overall. What would the movie improve upon from the game? That's sort of the question overall. What would be the need for a BioShock movie to exist when the game's so great already?
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying is, I don't understand what the point of making a movie based off a video game is when the video game is already so great and it's already so movie-esque in its presentation.
Well, the video game is going to be so much more immersive than a movie can ever be, because you are directly tied to the events in the video game. You are actually playing the character, making his way through the event. Like, so like in a movie, you don't get that. You're just watching. It's like watching a Let's Play. I mean, you're not actually like you're emotionally invested when you're playing the character, or you. In some cases, you are emotionally invested when you're playing the character. In a film version, you're not going to be as invested because you don't have that same level of immersion that you do with the video game.
And that's why I've never understood this idea that we need to take video games and turn them into movies. Because it's not like they're not telling an immersive story already in the video games. They are. It's so strange to me. Like they're making like a World of Warcraft movie. And, you know, I can't even think there haven't been any video game movies that really stick out to me that have been really high quality anyways.
No, I'm sure the World of Warcraft movie is just going to end up being just this like Lord of the Rings ripoff. I mean, what else can it be?
I mean, you have movies. The only one that I can even think of that's mildly successful, and it's mildly successful is because it's essentially just retreading old ground of horror movies, is Resident Evil.
For me, actually, the only one that I actually think is close to being good is Silent Hill.
The original Silent Hill?
Yeah, the first one. The first movie.
Yeah, that movie's actually not terrible.
Like, I remember at least being entertaining and creepy in its own right, but at the same time, it's not really that good of a movie.
Well, and, you know, when compared against all the other
exactly.
video game movies, right?
Yeah, and I mean, it's at least it's entertaining, or at least I remember being entertained because I haven't watched it in a while.
But it's just, you know, the lack of good quality video game movies should not be surprising, because I don't think the I don't think the movie medium is the place to tell video game stories.
No, and I think another issue really boils down to the fact that I think a lot of these people try to make these movies with dollar signs in their eyes, and they're not actually fans of the material. And that's also why you don't see good adaptations, because none of them are faithful to the source material.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. No, I agree. I think that is also another huge issue. I mean, that's what really brings this whole movie down, this whole Super Mario Brothers movies, because it doesn't feel like the people who made this movie had any idea what Mario was. They shoehorned in the Mario characters, and there you go. I mean, it doesn't feel like Mario. It feels like something else with the Mario name slapped on it, which, you know, that can work. But when you are in the height of the Mario craze in the mid-90s, and then you make this fucking movie and people hate it because they were expecting Mario, and they get whatever this is supposed to be with boots that make them jump high to explain why they jump high in the game, and ba-bombs, which is the most insane thing in this movie, that the ba-bombs look the same. It's a failure.
Yeah. It feels almost like it was made by Uwe Boll.
And I really wish that I had gotten a chance to ask him about it when I spoke with him back when I spoke with him earlier this year. But Lance Henriksen was in this movie as the king at the end of the movie.
Oh yeah. But he's in like 1 fucking second, isn't he? Like,
right, because the rest of the movie he's just like a giant blob of snot.
Yeah, that must be the most faceless role ever. Like, oh yeah, we're just gonna have you. Like, for some reason, I hope it's not the way it went, that they just have him stuck in there for the whole shoot. Like, hey,
and he just gets paid for 1 day of work, pretty much.
Yeah. For some reason, I just imagine that he was just stuck in there for like 80 days of shooting. Like, hey, you can come out now. We're gonna do your line. And like finally, I've been stuck on this roof for like a year. That's probably it didn't happen that way, but it almost feels like it happened that way. It's just that much of a faceless role.
Well, and you know, he was a pretty big star coming into this movie. You know, he'd worked on Alien and, you know, Aliens and I'm trying to think what else. Pumpkinhead. I mean, he'd worked on all kinds of stuff, and he really is just like one scene. And I'm, you know, as big a fan as Lance Henriksen as I am, I'm totally fine with him having like absolutely zero to no part in this film.
Well,
because it's a cameo, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
So, Oscar, skip it or watch it in best performance?
Skip it, and it's an obvious skip it. Best performance, probably John Leguizamo as Luigi. Again, he's fun to watch in any movie. Really, he's always like in horror movies. He's the best part, and this is no exception. He's likable, and that's it. Really, he did what he could with what he had in this role.
What about you, Zach?
You can skip this turd. It's pretty awful. I don't see any reason to watch it, especially at this point. Your time would be better spent playing a Mario video game.
Yeah, absolutely.
As far as best performance goes, I'm going to give the best performance to the opening narrator, which would be Dan Castellaneta.
You mean Homer Simpson?
Yes, exactly. It was either him or Frank Welker who did all the Goomba noises in the movie.
I actually, I have to give this movie, I would say watch it, because I think it's interesting to watch this movie and realize that, this movie has like so little to do with Mario, even though it bills itself as a Mario movie. I think this movie is like an interesting failure. And I think you echoed that a little bit, Oscar. It really is an interesting failure of a movie. Best performance, Dennis Hopper as King Koopa. I mean, he steals every scene that he's in. He's insane in this movie. And I like his performance in this movie because he's just hamming it up. He's totally hamming it up as Bowser, King Koopa, whatever you want to call him.
He probably really was the best part, especially at the end. It seemed like a throwaway line, but when he was talking, he was like ordering his troops and he just out of nowhere asked where his pizza was.
Oh yeah.
That actually made me laugh, and I don't know why.
Yeah.
Or when he devolves a human being into a chimp, and then he says monkey, because he's. I was like, what are you? Oh my god, it's a monkey, not a chimp, dude. Or it's a chimp, not a monkey, dude. Like, come on. So it's really just he just hams it up, and again, that's not with a movie like this, hamming it up is not exactly a bad thing.
No.
So, well, what do you guys think the score is on Rotten Tomatoes for the film?
10%.
10%. That's a good
I'm gonna give it 5.
15%.
Wow.
Well, if you combine our answers, we're right.
Right? You guys are right together. Critics' consensus is, despite flashy sets and special effects, Super Mario Brothers is too light on story and substance to be anything more than a novelty.
Yeah, that sums it up.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I didn't give it enough credit, but Oscar was right there. I mean, the set design and special effects were actually pretty good for the time.
Yeah.
I mean, there were no Jurassic Park, but still.
Right. Man, the amount of times we've used Jurassic Park on the Kulturecast as a measuring bar for 90s.
Well, they came out
effects.
the same year, right? Jurassic Park was in 93.
Yes.
Yeah, they were the same year.
I mean, even if they didn't come out the same year, they still came out within like a close enough period of time.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's nothing was Jurassic Park in the 90s other than Jurassic Park.
Yeah.
So, and the audience score, what do you guys think the audience score is?
I'm gonna say lower. Like I'm gonna go with 5% this time.
I'll say 8%.
28% out of 172,000 reviews.
That surprises me, actually.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people err on the side of it's an interesting failure.
Yeah, but I'll tell you, I know some people actually like this movie.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Like, enjoy it or just like like it ironically?
I mean, who knows? Maybe they actually like it ironically and don't want to admit it. But like some people tell me, oh, it's like they like I watched it when I was a kid, and like they're nostalgic about it for some reason.
That's right, friends of Oscar. He's putting you on call. He's calling you out for liking this movie ironically. Oh man,
they're gonna be so mad at me.
Yeah, right. They're not gonna be fans of you now that you're calling them out. Well,
yeah, I'll just say that, and just don't worry, guys. I'm just trying. This is for your own good. This is me intervening with you in your trying to save you away from this movie.
Yeah, I know. Okay. Well, before I talk about next week's Kulturecast, is there anything you guys want to plug?
Well, it's Super Mario related, and I don't know if you guys have talked about it before, but Max Landis, the writer of Chronicle and a bunch of other movies, he did like a 400+ page script of his own Super Mario movie when he was 19. And again, I honestly couldn't get through it all, but it's so interesting. Read it, far more interesting than this movie. You can find it on his website, which is maxlandiswrites.com. You can find it right there, and yeah, it's more worth your time than these piece of crap movie.
What about you, Zach?
Just check out our stuff on the Kulturecade. I mean, we're into the end of the year now, so I mean, there's not much in the way of new game releases, but there's still reviews and stuff coming down the coming down the pipes, and there's our regular weekly features. So check all that out, and be sure to check out my in 2016. I'll be back on the 3 count, so that'll be exciting times.
And for me, you can follow me on Twitter at Culture Stash. And like they were saying, make sure to check out the rest of our stuff over at cultureshock.com.
And maybe next year we'll come back and do a culture cast on the Assassin's Creed movie.
Right? Yeah. Right. Jesus, because Assassin's Creed movie comes out next year.
Yep.
So yeah, that's right. Well, make sure to check those out.